Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, April 1st, 2019 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I am whole. And happy April Fool's Day, and I'm not fooling you with anything that I bring forward. So I apologize for not being able to show up. I wanted to do the scope and I was like fighting myself for hours because I was like, I want to do it. And my body was like, no. Rest, relax. I ended up in a dark, cool room by myself in silence, and that was like what my body, I guess, needed to decompress. And, my mind, overactive mind, is like, this must be, the advanced feeling of Mars moving into Gemini. That's how I made sense of it. Although there were some other things, I guess, going on that needed to, in my chart that needed to be processed, which could have been as well. But that's the thing. Mars has shifted into Gemini. Mars moved into Gemini late Saturday night, early Sunday, depending on where you live, and is still at 0 degrees. So Joe was just telling me, he's like, I feel so wiped. And that's how I felt yesterday, just like wiped clear, like I had nothing to give. And that when Mars is at that 0 degree energy, sometimes we can feel that wipe. And it's just kind of the decompression before the new energy cycle begins, because Mars is the planet that is responsible for our energy and our action, how we move forward. So at 0 degrees, it's good to give yourself a rest. Hopefully you did. On Monday, Mars will be shifting midday, depending where you live, from 0 degrees to 1 degrees. So we are going to get that little kick. Now, Mars and Gemini, the most major thing to be aware of with Mars and Gemini from now through mid-May is Mars, the planet of passion, very passionate Mars is, aggression, frustration, meets Gemini, the mind, the intellect, conversation, communication, learning. We may go in a little bit into mental overdrive. So be very aware of your mind and where it starts racing, especially when situations come up, whether the situation is one that does drive you in a passionate manner, or if the situation is one that pushes you in a more frustration manner. What kind of stories is your mind spinning and telling with all this? It's very good to be aware of it. Now, I've said this so many times, but oh my God, keep tuning into me with this. South Node conjunct Pluto is really showing us these old patterns that we have done again and again and again and again that strip us of our power. And ultimately, when we fall prey to that frustration, what happens when we fall prey to that frustration, it is an old pattern. Like, I'm not getting what I want, and so I'm going to, punch a wall, because I feel blocked. The block's in you. The block is not that wall, And so this is an opportunity to use this mental energy with Mars and Gemini to locate, what is this thing that I desire? What is this thing that I feel passionate about? Okay, and where is this block in me? Where am I repeating this same pattern? Where can I release this same pattern? Now, it's interesting because both Mars and Pluto can have that shadowy side of aggression, anger, energy. I'm not going to tell you that it's bad, but a lot of times the way we use it is not in the most positive manner. That's what we want to be key with, because sometimes that frustration, that aggression, or even that anger can help us break through blocks, especially when we realize often that anger is something that's eating us up inside because there's that block. So we can use it in a empowered manner to help ourselves, but the awareness is key. And during Mars and Gemini, we just have to be really aware of where these mental patterns are taking us, and can we flip it? Can we flip the switch or flip the script and do something different? Do something new. Now, one of the things we need to be very aware of, and this is what I did yesterday, and I'm very proud of myself, even though it's hard. North Node is in Cancer. Cancer is willing to stop and look at the full picture, mother itself, nurture itself, feel the feelings around whatever's coming up. Mars in Gemini doesn't necessarily want to stop and feel the feels. But part of shifting these patterns with the South Node conjunct Pluto is the willingness to stop and tune into the patterns. Stop and tune into the feelings around the patterns that are coming up. Now, the other mental thing that's making this so interesting, like, oh my gosh, so much may be coming up. We have Mercury making the final pass over Neptune as it is direct. So Mercury and Neptune will come together one last time, exact conjunct, tomorrow, Tuesday, really early in the morning. Dreams. Your dreams may show you some of these patterns and what you can do to unwind these patterns, what lessons are have been up for you in regards to these patterns and these shifts that you can make. One of the things that you can ask, pull some cards. What does Spirit want to teach me right now? What does Spirit want me to know right now? Intensity, moving towards the light. What does Spirit want me to know from this retrograde, as this is the third pass over the lessons? What does my higher self want me to know to help me move forward past these blocks? So this is really powerful. Now, another thing that we want to be aware of that's happening in and amongst all this astro is that we are building into new moon, which means we are heading into the dark of the moon. We have the moon today shifting into Pisces. So on one hand, we're like, all systems go with Mars moving into 1 degree with Gemini, but then the moon in Pisces is like, and yet we need to be slow, and we need to tend to the feelings, and we need to tend to what comes up. And I definitely have 2 cards that do speak of that today. I have the slowing down card and the postponement card. And the postponement card, I really feel like is a card like, get grounded, tap into yourself, body, mind, spirit, soul, heart. Make sure that it's all connected. All systems are go as you move forward. I also have the patience card with this. So it's like, be patient with yourself, because I feel like the astro right now is a little bit like stop and go. Like a little moving forward and it's like, a little moving forward. It's because we're really meant to see the scenery where we're at. We're really meant to get these lessons. What we're building into, this Pluto-Saturn conjunction, that's a major thing. It's in Capricorn, a very major thing. So stop and check out where you're at, because all of this is meant to take you into that source energy within you, really help you be at the oneness, at the wholeness, at the holiness with your soul. What's nice is that for the next 10 days, until Jupiter goes retrograde, we have all planets direct. So even if you feel like it's stop and go, really major divine progress is being made, especially as you're taking awareness of your patterns. That, I think, is probably the biggest thing that's going on, that South Node Pluto thing. That's major. All right. So besides that, like I said, moon in Pisces today, and the moon in Pisces is making all of the connections through the day. The moon is shifting into Pisces, 7:48 a.m. Be aware, things may be a little dreamy. You know, Pisces is the sign we were just last in. So what were your lessons during Pisces time? A lot of the lessons in Pisces time is be willing to take it easy. Let Spirit guide you. Let your soul guide you. Let your higher self guide you, rather than be driven by the shoulds. So can you find that place of flow where you're working with the universe rather than frustrated with the pace of the unfolding of things? The moon is going to connect to Mars. That as well, Mars will still be at 0 degrees. So we got that square, and we may be feeling that within us, especially on a Monday. It's like, oh, I feel like I should be moving. I have so much to do, but I'm really struggling today. Take it easy. Take moments when you can to meditate, to connect in, because that will support you. Moon will then connect to Uranus. Oh, today feels like a very creative day. If you can take time for writing or art or just even appreciating nature, getting outside in nature may help you get more into your flow, because nature knows how to flow. I love that quote by Lao Tzu that I will butcher, but basically nature doesn't hurry and yet everything gets done. So remember, you too are nature. The last aspect of the day is the moon connecting to Venus. Venus hanging out in Pisces, reminding us of oneness. So be very aware what comes up with the moon, especially as we are in basically approaching dark of the moon time. As we build to this new moon, dark of the moon can really bring up shadows around relationships, shadows around relationship with ourselves, relationship with the universe, God, spirit. Where are you at with that? This might be an opportunity to make peace and realize that everything's happening as it's meant to. I do have the Lover's card, so that's quite nice amongst all of this. I feel like we're really meant to bring ourselves to that place of, even if we don't feel it with every single being on this planet, even if there are beings that don't act like it, remembering that oneness that is, and remembering that it is there, and there is that tie that binds, and at the very least you can connect with spirit on that level, and feel that love, and feel that gratitude for that energy. But be very aware of what comes up on a spirit level, because that moon may show you some shadows that need to be processed. So that's it for today. I'm about to go to Patreon and do my month ahead reading for them. So if you would like month ahead heads up for April, come join me on Patreon. Besides that, you can always book a reading with me. You have a few days before we begin the Astro class. We are beginning it on Friday the 5th with the new moon, 5:30, 6 p.m. Pacific beginning, and it will be recorded, and it is a year-long class. So this is basically your last opportunity to jump in with us. Besides that, you have the power. The better it gets, and there's more than enough love in the world for you. Namaste.